What's up, guys? So today we have the new CHAVES RCK9. Now, the thing with this one is this particular one is limited with this pattern. However, this same model is going to be released more towards the end of the year. So this is a limited edition one, but you will have the ability to get some of the other ones coming very soon. So let's check it out. Let's take a closer look at the new CHAVES RCK9. Now, just so you know, it does come with an extra clip. If you don't like the skull clip, some people love it, some people hate it, but you have an extra clip just in case. And maybe you like the way the clip looks, but you don't like the way it operates. This might have a little bit more spring to it, and that does come in the box. Now, the RCK9 is quite a bit smaller than the kickstop. As you can see, and it's smaller in all dimensions. Some people, thought this was a little bricky, a little box-like, a little squared off. I personally love it, but some people, just like different types of knives. Now, this one still has this nice robust, thick titanium, or has thick, robust titanium scales, but it's a lot more compact. So this might just be a bit more comfortable in a lot of people's hands. I personally, like I said, liked the comfort in this, but I can understand why some people thought it was a little square, a little boxy. This, still kind of has a little bit of boxiness, but since it has this nice chamfer on both sides and it's, slimmer and smaller, it is a lot more compact and it definitely fills the hand differently than the kickstop. Now we have an M390 satin blade. Now, I believe Riet is doing these, so that's a good thing because Riet they're pretty much, there's very few companies that are doing M390 very well, and Riet is one of them. Riet does a very good job with their M390, so always happy to see that if it has M390. Really quick, I just want to stop and thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for watching my videos, always liking my videos, leaving me comments, and just being such an awesome community. I greatly appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. Let's get back to the video. And, a beautiful satin finish. And it is a drop point, so it's not a straight pack, which is going to be cool because you're not going to have to lift your elbow all the way up to here to get to the tip. It's one reason why I don't like straight backs. I prefer drop points or spear points or whatever, just something with a lower tip so it's easier to do, utility cuts and things. And this should be just fine, especially with the compact handle. Now, the lockup, very nice lockup. You can see it has a nice wide lock face, so nice strong engagement. And you can see even with it slowly being rolled, it engages very well. And I like to see that. And it feels secure. I like the way that feels. I've always appreciated that about CHAVES, is, to have a nice solid feeling lockup. Thumb stud action on bearings, it's extremely smooth. This thing is very smooth. Now, fantastic thumb or reverse flick. These thumb studs have, some spirals around them. I don't know if they offer anything, but, it is relatively grippy. It's not super grippy, but, just the comfort of the the comfort of the thumb studs is really good. Very easy to press and launch, which I do like, and also same thing with the reverse flick. And it has I don't know how to say it because it's a feeling. When you break the detent, you can really feel how smooth it is. And then when it hits, you feel it hit the stop pin and you feel the lock bar engage. And it has, in my opinion, a very satisfying feeling to it. I personally like it. I love it. As far as the lock bar access, by the way, it does have a steel lock bar insert, as you can see, but it does have plenty of lock bar access. They didn't cut it back from the side, but because the blade stock thickness is so thick, you have plenty of room between each scale, and you put a chamfer on the edge, so it's very comfortable to disengage. So they really didn't have to put in a big cutout. They just did a couple chamfers, and it works out just fine. Now, as far as the skull clip, now, Personally, I love the way it looks. I like the skull clip, but it tends to be a bit tight. It does tend to be a bit tight. There's just no spring to it. So, you know, in that case, you know, a lot of people probably would prefer this clip as far as the way it functions over the skull clip. I do like how he hid the screws instead of leaving them out like this, you know. That definitely looks a lot cleaner without the screw head, so that's really cool. So in order to switch the clip, you obviously have to take it apart. Now, as far as negatives go, you know, before we get into anything else, you know, there's not hardly any negatives. I have one real negative. You know, I could say that the clip, you know, is a little tight, but he gives you a new clip, so I can't complain about that. There's no milling in the inside. I'm not really worried about that. You know, I don't mind a little bit of weight in my knife, and sometimes I appreciate a little bit of weight. But one thing I am going to complain about is the sharpening tool and plunge grind. Now, it's not the worst, but it's also not great. So you can see the plunge grind starts here and it ends right there. So if I chipped my edge, or let's say I just wanted to, let's say I wanted to lower back my edge angle to 15 degrees per side. If I do that, especially if I do it twice, my edge is going to put a smile right here. That means it's going to cut into the plunge grind and it'll look wonky. That's basically what that means. It's going to basically curve up right there, and you'll see like this as if sandpaper hit it or something. That's what it'll look like, because in order to sharpen the edge all the way back to the end, you know, you have to sharpen all the way back to there. So when your stone's there, if there's anything in the way close to the edge, it's going to hit it. So I just prefer distance away from the end of the plunge grind and the edge. So it doesn't matter about the beginning of the plunge grind. That's where people mistaken. They think that this is the separation between this and this. No, it's the separation of the end of the plunge grind. So it starts here and it ends here. So you don't even have a separation in this case. So is it a deal breaker? No. And with this one, to be honest, if you know, are decent with the Dremel, you can just cut in your own choil. You can cut in your own finger choil if you wanted to, because the stop pin is located up here and not back here. So I do like that. So at least you can fix it if you did chip your edge. Because that's the thing, is that to me, this is something that knife companies really need to start paying attention to, because it seems like I'm complaining about this a lot. And I know you guys hear me complaining about it all the time. Companies need to start thinking about the future of their knives. What do they want their knives to look like in the future? And what's the experience going to be like for the user? Is he going to easily be able to sharpen it many, many times over? What if he chips his edge? Could he remove enough steel and still make it look new? And if you have a good plunge grind, if your plunge grind is separated from the edge quite a bit, then it gives you plenty of life. You know, if you microchipped your edge, or if you sharpened it up 10 times because it's been 2 years, or if you want to just lower back your edge angle because you like nice low edge angles, you know, whatever. You have plenty of room to do that because they give you the steel to remove before it ever hits the plunge grind. So just something for companies and designers to think about when designing knives or when making knives. All in all, I like the knife a lot. Of course I do. I've always liked pretty much every Chavez that I've ever handled. I fell in love with this thing. I freaking love the kickstop on this knife, man. The kickstop invention is so brilliant. It really is. Now this, and all Chavezes have always had really good detents and really good action. So anyways, there you guys go. Like I said, the plain versions, because remember, this is a limited edition version, so this one's very limited, but this same knife is going to be coming out without the micro milling at the end of the year, or more towards the end of the year. So I do plan on passing this around, and then I'll get it back, and once I get it back, hopefully it'll be right around the same time, or, you know, give or take, when these are going to be released, and I'll be able to bring them to your attention once again. So there you guys go. Shout out to Chavez, and work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.